All right, so you've put quite a bit of time into working on the press and whatnot. You've got some young guards. You've got some kind of a non-traditional point guard mix. Just how ready are they? You feel like for what they're going to get from Marquette?
Well, obviously we've played teams that have pressed and everything. I don't think anybody is going to press like Marquette. That's because they're committed to it.
Right.
I think other people that do press are just trying to kind of figure it out. And if it helps them in a game or it helps them in a year, they will. I know he didn't press as much when he was at Texas just because he had more size and it's harder to.
Mm-hmm.
But from last year and watching tape and everything, he's back to where he's committed to it, even though there's some differences. I think the differences always lie with him, with his personnel, and what he thinks is best, whether he zone presses more, or man-to-mans more, or man-to-mans press at a certain time of the game, things of that. He'll mix in zone, even though they didn't zone much last year, he'll still zone, especially if he gets up in a game, to mix things up. So you just have to be prepared, for everything.
Yeah.
And taking care of the basketball and just getting quality shots, just like you would versus any other opponent.
You always talk about the importance of seeing different styles and being acclimated to them. They're kind of smaller and faster, right? And that runs counter to maybe some of the things you do.
Well, it's not as much as what we do, it's as much as what we've seen so far. So we've played Cincinnati, we've played Milwaukee, you played Austin Peay. So we've played some athletic teams that play fast also, that have good quickness and athleticism. So that's what you try to do with your schedule. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, is to just keep preparing yourself for each game. This will be a very difficult game, but no matter what, it'll definitely prepare us for the next game when we have to play West Virginia. And anytime you play West Virginia, that's going to prepare you, for your following. So that's what you want. You want to keep getting better. You want to keep, getting challenged. But obviously you got to win some games, in that mix. But I think we've done a good job scheduling, leading into this game and leading into our, our exempt tournament afterwards.
How much does having David back in a more prominent role now that he has a game under his belt after the
I think it
will help with the press and stuff?
Yeah, I think it was good for him to get out there and play some minutes. He played 15 minutes, but that's really a lot of time for someone who hasn't practiced in a week. But just kind of shows his, his toughness, that he's been able to bounce back. He's had two different things happen to him, and he's bounced back in both of them and got out there in that one scrimmage and didn't have a great scrimmage, but was really banged up. And I thought he did some good things. Obviously, he made a shot, and when we couldn't make a shot, which was really good to see. And but now we're excited. Excited that he's here, and excited that he's got some practices underneath his belt before this game.
I know that you always want to get the best shot you can as quickly as you can, but when you're attacking transition, when you're trying to beat a press, do you want the quick three, or do you want to make sure that your offensive rebounders who've been really good so far have a crack at it?
Yeah, you want layups, dunks, and wide open threes. That's what you want. You don't want runners, floaters, and tough twos.
But your offensive rebounders are really good, and
that's where they are. So they're down there. They're not breaking the press. So they're always in rebound position at that point. So now just get a quality shot at that time. If you break it, you have an advantage on the break. And so that's what really good pressing teams come from behind and poke at the ball. They come from behind and challenge shots. You just have to have a sense of where you are and be able to pick up that ball when you dribble, be able to realize that it's probably not a good shot if some guy's coming close to blocking it from behind you. You just have to have that awareness, as a player. But that's really the breakdown of what you want to do. If you do get into position where you can break the press and you have numbers, you want to take those open ones and get layups and dunks. They want you to shoot those tough twos. That's what they want. Even when you make a couple, they'd prefer you to do that.
Just with Waddell, he's coming off the knee injury, but then he had the setback again. What kind of kept him together during that time to deal with another? Not as major as a setback as the knee
Correct.
injury, but just another setback.
Yeah, just from a mental standpoint, when things like that happen and you're pushing through something and you're hoping to make progress, when you have another setback, it's here we go again. And so it's really hard to make strides right then when you keep having setbacks like that. But he's done a good job. I think he looks forward to the games more than he does the practices. To be frank with you, just because it's very physical, we don't call as many fouls in practice. You get into the game, at least you have some protection. I'm a bad official, so. But no, he does a good job. He knows what he's doing. He pays attention. He's got good length from a defensive standpoint. He can get rebounds. He can pass the basketball. He's aware of what's going on. So he's a really good piece of the puzzle.
Plus, he probably wouldn't get hit by Mason in a game as opposed to a practice.
No, he still can.
Yeah.
He still can.
Have you made any decisions with Cam yet, or has he made any decisions, or is it
No,
still?
not yet. We're still waiting.
Going back to Brian, have you seen him just show a little more aggressiveness, like game by game? Obviously, you're just 2 games into the season. But what
Not
have you kind of
really.
seen from him?
That's just kind of how he plays. Like he's a good play runner. So you run plays, like he's got a good pace to him in terms of being able to get an angle and turn corners and do different things. Like he has a good sense of where he is. Like the other day, he looked like he was stuck underneath the basket, and he just spun and just kind of laid it in, something you don't see very much. But he's a unique player. He's very long. He can handle the basketball. He can pass the basketball. He can shoot it. So, but no, he just needs confidence more than anything. And it's really hard, like the position that he's in, because he's going to have some games this year where he plays more. He's going to have some games where he plays less. And it's nothing that you do. It's just sometimes it gets situational when you got 10 guys that you're trying to play. And it's really hard. You just got to believe in yourself and stay with it and just keep building confidence. So, but it's hard to be consistent sometimes when you get inconsistent time.
And you talked about Caleb after the last game, just the energy he's
Yeah.
brought off the bench.
I thought he was really good. I thought he played hard on defense. I thought he did some really good things there, rebounded the basketball. He's had some open looks that haven't went down yet, but they will. He's a good shooter. So our guys are looking for him. We've ran a couple quick hitters for him to get him shots, and he just needs to keep looking for those.
How well do you think he's adjusted so far to just playing both the 4 and the 5 so far this season? In what areas do you really think he needs to kind of improve?
Well, he's always played the 5 his whole life.
Right.
And so then last year he played the 4, exclusively outside of maybe a couple minutes here and there. So I think it's very natural for him to be where he's at the 5. And then last year, that's where he got all of his time at the 4. So he gained a lot of experience there. So I don't think it really matters. I think it matters. They were bigger. Austin Peay was bigger. And at that level, you normally don't see that. You don't see that 6'10" 4-man that is athletic. So they had a face-up 5 and a big, 4-man that was athletic, which is very unique for that level. You normally don't see that. But he did a good job. The thing for us is the matchups there. Like, who can guard who.
Kolek's been a really good playmaker for them this season. I think about 50% assist rate at this point.
Yeah.
Is that something you can focus on during the week, practice-wise?
Yeah. Well, he's an elite passer. He knows where people are. He does a great job when people pull in defensively to protect the rim of spraying the ball out and finding people. But no, just a good guard, good lead guard. Really, really good passer. He can knock down shots. I think when they put him in there with the young guard from Guyana, Ohio. His name's drawing a blank.
Jones.
Sean Jones. There you go. Thank you. We recruited him. Good player, fast. Sean Jones is fast. It gives him a little bit of dynamic with like 2 points in together. And they've been, in the short amount of time they've played so far, they've been really good of doing that. But they're also good when, obviously Kolek's in there with the guys they start, like Stevie Mitchell and Cam Jones and those guys. So they have a good crew in their backcourt. But Kolek's definitely, he's got a little bit of Dellavedova to him in terms of the way he can whip the basketball and pass it. Very impressive.
Thanks.